Tossing Rocks at Your Window, a Marichat Miraculous Ladybug fanfiction, Chapter 1. It may be summer, but the sun isn't beating down on everything its rays can touch. The light isn't so bright that one would need to use sunglasses and yet still squint to drive. The heat isn't sweltering and sticky to the point where all of the appropriate clothing still seems too warm. The streets aren't busy and overcrowded with people running, walking, and rushing down. No one is shouting. No one is dancing. No one is singing in the streets. The reason for all of this? It's nighttime, nearly 12 a.m. Despite this late in time, Marichat is still up. She's been a morning person her whole life, ironic considering her penchant for tardiness. Staying up past 11 p.m. is always considered an achievement for her. Alia especially finds this fact amusing. Right now, she's not sure why she's up. She's not studying for a test. She's not on the phone with a friend. There is no reason to be up. Summer is the time for sleeping 10 plus hours each day, not staring out the window in silence. She should sleep. She knows it. There aren't any real consequences if she doesn't, but it's just a fact that she likes to keep her early bedtime. Her entire sleep schedule would be messed up if she didn't get to bed soon, and though becoming a night owl for a few months seems like an interesting idea, it's not viable for her. Marichat sighs at nothing. She's trying to convince herself to sleep, and finally she did it. Her feet drag out of the chair and up the ladder to her bed. The air sounds with the creaks of the wooden ladder moving. No surprises there. Her parents went to bed hours ago. The blankets are still mussed up. She tried sleeping at a regular time to no avail before, and she debates even getting into them again. It'll be warm when the morning comes and the sun beams down, warming the room and everything in the city. She's probably just gonna wake up with slick sweat on her legs if she cuddles down now. Making a face, Marichat settles on top of her covers. Though her eyes are closed, sleep doesn't come to her just as it didn't before. It's as if something doesn't want her to sleep. And said thing is very annoying, and she has some choice words to tell it. Silence continues as Marichat hopes for sleep. Her hands almost reach out for her phone, for something to do. Alas, scrolling through Instagram would probably make it even harder to sleep. She groans irritably and closes her eyes again. Thunk. What is that noise? Marichat shoots up. Her head turns towards the window and she peers out, squinting at her eyes to see through the vast darkness. There's no one there. What on earth? She sighs and lays back down again. There must have been some poor bird who couldn't see so well in the dark. It probably slammed into her window. Such things happen too often. Thankfully, they survive the hits more often than not. Thunk. There was that noise again. What even? There's no way two birds slammed into her window in one night. One doing it was actually quite rare. It has to be something consciously hitting it. Thunk. Okay. Something is seriously up. Marichat groans and stands up and goes down her ladder. She is going to sleep, and whatever is doing that needs to stop it. Is it some random juvenile teenager wanting to have fun? Marichat would hate to be the grumpy old person, especially since she is not old and is literally a teenager herself, but if they think this is entertaining, then they better find a better source of entertainment, because it's about to get really entertaining real soon. Thunk. She grits her teeth in annoyance, practically jumping off the 2 last rungs. Thunk. Marinette's not a violent person on a day-to-day basis, but right now she wants to punch someone. Thunk. This thunk person, thunk, is thunk, so thunk. Ch.1? Marinette says incredulously when she gets down to the window. No doubt, it's him. No one else in Paris could hang upside down from her rooftop to see through the window. Also the suit. No one else in Paris has the Ch.1 miraculous suit. That too. He'd been chucking little stones at her window, probably trying to get her attention. Well, his ridiculous method of being noticed has worked. He has been noticed. Marinette rushes to open her window and frantically pushes it open. It takes 3 tries, and Ch.1's cackling upside down by the time she gets it open. Air rushes into her room, and it's not as humid as she was expecting it to be. It was nice and cool, admittedly. Maybe she should keep her window open more often. "What are you doing here?" she whisper shouts at him. Her eyes are wide with shock. He sheepishly smiles. "Yeah," he chuckles out a nervous laugh. "Sorry for doing that. I didn't really know what else to do or how else to get you to notice me outside your window," he admits, rubbing the back of his neck. Ladybug inspects her window. There are no cracks or fault lines. Lucky for him. If there was, she and him right here, right now, even if her parents wake up to the scene. Okay, you're off the hook for now," she says, flashing dangerous eyes. What are you here for? What are you here for?" she asks again. Ch.1 looks back out the window and then to her. He takes in a breath. "I can't tell you where, but I need you to come with me." She blinks at him. Once, twice, thrice. "What?" she cries out incredulously. What on earth do you mean? What on earth does he mean? Go with me. Is this some crazy attempt at kidnapping? Are you mad? She nearly shouts. If you want me to go with you somewhere, sure, but why can't you tell me where you're taking me? Is this what a starting plot of a murder movie is? Ch.1 hushes her with his hand, and she flashes furious eyes at him. He sheepishly shrugs. She bites his hand in revenge. He squawks, and it's mildly entertaining for 20 seconds. Ow! I thought I was supposed to be the cat between the two of us, he jokes. Marinette raises a brow at him, telling him silently to get going with the explanation. He acquiesces. I can't tell where we're going because I don't know, he admits. When he looks at her, she can see something in his eyes. There is a longing, there is a frenzy, and there is something else she can't quite place. I need you to go with me, just for one night. Ch.1 pleads with her. Just one night. We'll be back before your parents even know you're gone. He continues. I need to go on an adventure, he says softly. Marinette looks at him up and down. She sighs. Is she about to give in? Is she really about to give in to a boy wearing a cat suit? Fine. I'll go on an adventure with you. Marinette sighs in defeat. It's worth it, though, to see Ch.1's face light up like a firecracker. Thank you. Ch.1 tugs her into a hug unexpectedly. It's weird, honestly, with him being upside down and her not. Thank you so much. He pulls away and she swears she sees his eyes watering. I promise, it's only for one night and no soul will even know. Marinette rolls her eyes, but smiles playfully. Okay. I'll meet you out there, she says, shoving him back. I'm gonna go get changed and grab my phone. Marinette points a finger at him. Don't make me regret doing this, she warns. You won't. As Marinette laces up her shoes, she questions her decision. Is this really such a good idea? Ch.1 is great, and she knows he's not going to drag her into some big trouble, but that knowledge still doesn't help the turning in her stomach for sneaking out. It's not like she's outright lying to her parents, it's just not telling them she's going somewhere. But at the same time, she feels odd. She's felt so odd this entire summer until this very moment. Until Ch.1 gave her this chance to do something kind of crazy and kind of reckless and kind of a bad idea, but God, Marinette feels a fire of excitement roar into her. She hasn't felt that in a while. Grabbing her phone, she takes a breath. There's nothing she can do. She's made a choice. Going out on her balcony, she tosses the little pile of stones off into the distance. She hears them hit the ground and shouts annoyed cries of anguish for doing so. Quite clearly. Giggling to herself, she leans down on the railing to see him staring down. Why did you do that? Do you know how hard it is to get those to your house? He mumbles at her. Marinette rolls her eyes and leans down further. She feels a little bit like a princess being stuck in a tower, talking to the prince trying to save her. It's a feeling she kind of hates with a passion. It looked weird, she calls back. Taking in a calming breath, Marinette psychs herself up to do what she needs to do next. As Ladybug at least, leaping off a rooftop building to the ground isn't that scary. She has magic on her side, reflexes, a protective suit, extra endurance for pain, and lots more upgrades she doesn't have as regular Marinette. I'm gonna jump down to you, she calls out to him. Ch chokes out a laugh. Wow, daring, he says with a huge grin on his face. Before Marinette can chastise him, his mouth opens again. Couldn't have expected any less than you. His tone is proud, and she can't help but smile. It's nice to hear. Nice to hear that he's proud of her, even out of costume. Here, jump. I'll catch you on the count of 3. 1, 2. His arms are out wide, and Marinette allows her arms to let go, and suddenly she's free falling. It's terrifying and reckless and so dangerous, but Marinette can't help but squeal at the feeling of air rushing around her, the flash of buildings and colors around her. Her veins are pumping with adrenaline, and she just feels so alive. 3, Marinette says as Ch wraps his arms around her, catching her right before she can hit the ground. There is a cheeky smile on her face, and no doubt red cheeks too. His face is overjoyed, and she can see the laugh in his eyes. Come on, he says, not even bothering to drop her. Instead, he carries her to a black car. We're going somewhere, he mutters under his breath. Are we driving somewhere? Marinette asks. She settles into the passenger seat. Ch gets into the driver's and adjusts the mirror. Yep, he says, starting to drive. Is this safe? She asks. Yep. Can you even drive? Marinette asks, staring at the Parisian nightlife and lack thereof. Then she remembers about the time that Ch.1 literally had to drive a bus during an Akuma attack. She totally forgot about it before this very second. If Ch.1 can drive a bus decently well, then he must be good enough at driving a car, which seems a little bit easier. I sure hope so, Ch.1 jokes, looking over at her. She yelps and hits his arm in response. He breaks out in laughter as Marichat rolls her eyes. Kidding. I drove here, so yes, I can drive, and I'm pretty good at that as well. I was taught by a pretty good driver, after all. He says, the words barely audible at the end. It's silent for a few minutes, and when they pass by the Eiffel Tower is when it really hits her that they are doing this. She just snuck out for fun for the very first time in her life. This is happening, she says in a tight voice. Ch.1 nods. She lets out a huffed laugh. Well, let the adventure begin, Marichat says brightly. He flashes a smile at her, one of thanks and excitement. Dear God, they are really